So this guy should have just stuck to selling pillows. Enter Mike Lindell, who's known as the My Pillow guy, who made $300 million in the 2000s off the pillow game, but he ended up turning out to be kind of conspiracy theorist whack job, and now he's running for governor of Minnesota, and for that, he's totally doomed. Mike Lindell's a businessman. This guy definitely deserves credit because he started My Pillow in 2004. He was pretty much broke at the time, and then he actually just began selling them at county fairs, but then he managed to save up enough money to buy infomercial time at 2 a.m. time slots on local TV networks, and then just wrote it up where by 2009 he was actually doing $300 million a year in sales. But at the same time, he says a lot of really crazy things, and some are just flat out lies about his past, with one big example being him claiming that he was a crackhead for years until his 3 crack dealers got together and held an intervention for him to get him off the drug. Which, yeah, that story is just complete and total BS. There's no way a crack dealer, somebody who's selling a drug that could literally kill somebody and probably selling to dozens, if not hundreds of people, would get together with rival dealers and say, hey, we got to get good old Mike clean. And I think Mike just says it because he's involved in the evangelical Christian movement, and it sounds like this good, come together story. There's also just Mike Lindell stepping away from business and trying to get involved in politics, where he became a big election denier in 2020 and actually put hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars to try and get Donald Trump made president. And he ended up with a lot of lawsuits where a company actually sued him for $3 billion because he made the claims the voting machines were actually hacked. Also, prices pill at the controversial number 1488. You're the face of the brand, it's best not to get overly political because you don't want to be divisive, and in the process, because he went so far into the conspiracy theory rabbit hole, he did divide a lot of customers where they stopped buying My Pillows. So My Pillow used to be doing $300 million a year in sales, but now it's about $50 to $70 million where they've had to lay off a lot of people, and the reason is because Bed Bath & Beyond stopped carrying them and a lot of people just stopped buying the product. Now, Mike Lindell, after losing tens of millions of dollars in lawsuits that related to the 2020 election, he has decided to run for office himself, running for governor of Minnesota against Tim Walz, and yeah, in this campaign, he has no shot. To be clear, I think a Republican could actually defeat Tim Walz, where Tim Walz wasn't this charismatic candidate when he ran for VP, and then also at the same time, he does have to deal with that $300 million fraud going on in Minnesota, where Somali groups were actually diagnosing Somali kids with autism at irregular rates to just try and get money in a Medicaid scam, and it cost $300 million from the state of Minnesota, and a lot of the money actually went to terror groups. But still, even though Tim Walz might be vulnerable, the Republicans still have to realize Minnesota is a pretty left-wing state. Minnesota actually hasn't voted Republican in a presidential election since 1972, and in 1984, when Ronald Reagan won 49 states, the one state he lost was Minnesota. Also, Tim Walz is not unpopular in Minnesota. He did get reelected by 8 points in 2022. He had a 10-point victory in 2018, so Tim Walz is not somebody that's going to just be easy to defeat. Even though a moderate Republican might be able to defeat Tim Walz, Mike Lindell definitely can't do that, where he'd be given this crazy reputation, lose like Roy Moore did in 2017 in Alabama. He's just going to blow millions on this race, and with that, I'm Charles Pearl, Red Blue News. Subscribe to learn something.